Welcome to TT-Buddhism, a channel dedicated to sharing the wisdom of the Buddha, inspiring inner peace, mindful living, and true happiness. In a world filled with noise and constant motion, we believe everyone deserves a space to reconnect with themselves, guided by clarity, compassion, and deep understanding. Today, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood yet essential qualities on the spiritual path: wisdom. When people hear the word wisdom, they often think of intelligence, academic achievement, or having a vast amount of knowledge. But according to the Buddha, wisdom is not about knowing more. It's about understanding deeply. True wisdom helps us see through illusions, let go of attachments, and live a life of peace and freedom. In this video, we'll explore what real wisdom means in Buddhism, the common misconceptions about wisdom in the modern world, and most importantly, the 4 essential practices the Buddha taught for developing wisdom in everyday life. You don't need to be a scholar or a monk to cultivate wisdom. What you need is a sincere heart, a mindful presence, and the willingness to see life clearly. Whether you're new to Buddhist teachings or have been walking this path for some time, this message is for you. Let's begin this journey together to awaken the wisdom within and to bring more clarity, compassion, and calm into our lives. Common misconceptions about wisdom. In today's modern society, wisdom is often misunderstood. Many people believe that wisdom simply means knowing more, having a wealth of information, academic degrees, or a high IQ. But knowledge and wisdom are not the same. A person may possess an impressive amount of information, yet still be trapped in suffering, make unwise choices, or lack the ability to find peace. On the other hand, someone with little formal education might live with clarity, humility, and kindness, reflecting a deep and genuine inner wisdom. The difference lies not in what one knows, but in how one sees and lives. There's a popular quote that humorously illustrates this distinction. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. While it makes us smile, it also makes a crucial point. Wisdom is not about collecting facts, but about knowing how to apply those facts in a skillful and meaningful way. Wisdom brings discernment. It helps us understand when to speak and when to stay silent, when to act and when to wait, when to hold on and when to let go. It is rooted in awareness, compassion, and clarity, not in the mere accumulation of data or opinions. One common misconception is the belief that wisdom comes naturally with age. While time and experience can certainly be powerful teachers, they do not guarantee wisdom. Some people grow older repeating the same emotional patterns and mistakes, while others, even at a young age, show remarkable understanding and insight through self-reflection, mindfulness, and open-hearted living. The Buddha himself attained enlightenment at just 35 years old, not by growing older, but by seeking truth with sincerity, questioning deeply, and practicing with unwavering determination. Another misconception is that wise people always have the answers. In truth, wise people are often the first to admit what they don't know. Their wisdom is not built on arrogance, but on humility. They listen more than they speak. They observe. They remain curious and open to learning. Rather than needing to be right, they value being present, grounded, and kind. And contrary to the belief that wisdom is passive, that it means only thinking deeply or sitting quietly, true wisdom, in the Buddhist sense, is always active. It moves through how we treat others, how we speak, how we respond to suffering, and how we choose to live each moment. Understanding these misconceptions is a vital step on the path. The Buddha did not encourage blind belief or passive acceptance. He invited us to question, to look within, and to discover the nature of life through our own mindful experience. Wisdom, in this light, is not reserved for a few. It is something every one of us can cultivate with the right intention, guidance, and practice. The Buddha's definition of wisdom. According to the Buddha, wisdom is far deeper than just intellectual understanding. It is not limited to memorizing scriptures or engaging in philosophical debates. True wisdom arises when we begin to see the world as it really is, not as we want it to be or fear it might be, but in its actual, ever-changing nature. The Buddha described wisdom as the ability to understand the arising and passing away of all phenomena, everything in life, our thoughts, feelings, relationships, bodies, and even our beliefs, is in a constant state of change. To see this clearly, not just as a concept, but as a direct experience, is the beginning of wisdom. One of the most powerful teachings of the Buddha is that suffering arises from our resistance to this change. When we cling to what is impermanent, we suffer. When we expect things to remain the same, we become frustrated. Wisdom, then, is the gentle but penetrating light that shows us the futility of grasping and the peace that comes with letting go. It's not about giving up or becoming indifferent. It's about understanding the true nature of life and responding to it with compassion and clarity. In the Buddhist path, wisdom is also tied to ethical behavior and mindfulness. It's not separate from how we live. A wise person lives in harmony with the truth, with deep respect for all beings, and with the awareness that every action has consequences. Wisdom sees the interconnectedness of all life, and from that vision grows compassion. The Buddha often emphasized that wisdom and compassion are like two wings of a bird. Both are needed to truly fly on the path to liberation. To the Buddha, wisdom is ultimately what frees us. It is the antidote to ignorance, which is the root cause of our suffering. When we begin to see clearly, to truly understand impermanence, suffering, and the non-self, we begin to loosen the grip of craving and fear. We stop reacting blindly and start living with intention. This is the wisdom that leads not just to knowledge, but to peace, freedom, and awakening. 4 ways to develop wisdom according to the Buddha. The Buddha did not leave wisdom as an abstract concept. He offered clear, practical steps to help anyone, whether a monk or a lay person, cultivate true understanding. In one of his teachings, the Buddha outlined 4 essential foundations for the development of wisdom. These are not merely beliefs to hold on to, but practices to live by. When applied sincerely, they gradually reshape our view of life, transforming confusion into clarity and restlessness. The first and perhaps most emphasized is association with wise and noble people, those who embody the values of mindfulness, compassion, and insight. In Buddhism, this is often called kalyana or spiritual friendship. The people we spend time with have a profound influence on our thoughts, emotions, and choices. The Buddha advised, spend time with those who are wiser than you, who live mindfully, who inspire goodness, and who challenge you to grow. If such people are not available, even associating with the recorded teachings of enlightened beings can be a guiding light. There's a saying that who we become is the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, and the Buddha knew this truth long before modern psychology confirmed it. The second foundation is listening to the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha. Wisdom begins by hearing the truth, not just any truth, but teachings that lead the heart away from greed, hatred, and delusion, and toward peace, compassion, and liberation. Listening to the Dhamma helps us question our assumptions, understand suffering, and see how craving binds us. The more we expose ourselves to the teachings, through talks, readings, or mindful reflection, the more seeds of insight are planted in the soil of our mind. The third essential is wise attention, or yonusommanasikara in Pali. This means reflecting deeply, attentively, and skillfully on the teachings we hear. It's not enough to merely absorb information. We must examine it, apply it to our life, and ask, what does this mean for me? How is this relevant to my suffering or my joy? Wise attention helps us shift from surface-level understanding to insight that touches the heart. It teaches us to observe life with clarity, not reacting blindly, but responding with presence and discernment. Finally, the Buddha emphasized the need for practice in accordance with the Dhamma. Wisdom does not arise through theory alone. It grows through living the teachings. When we practice generosity, we begin to understand non-attachment. When we sit in meditation, we observe the rising and falling of thoughts and emotions, gaining direct insight into impermanence. When we observe ethical conduct, we see how actions lead to consequences, both internally and externally. This lived experience is what transforms knowledge into true wisdom. Together, these four pillars, associating with wise people, listening to the Dhamma, reflecting with wise attention, and practicing the teachings, form a powerful path to awakening. They are accessible to all, regardless of age, status, or background. The journey may not always be easy, but every step taken with awareness brings us closer to the freedom that wisdom makes possible. Applying wisdom in modern life. In the fast-paced, noisy world we live in today, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, disconnected, and uncertain. With constant notifications, endless comparisons on social media, and a growing pressure to succeed, many people find themselves anxious and restless. In such an environment, the ancient teachings of wisdom may seem distant or difficult to apply. But in truth, it is precisely in this modern chaos that Buddhist wisdom becomes most relevant and most needed. To begin applying wisdom in daily life, we must first create moments of stillness and reflection. Even 10 minutes a day spent in silence away from screens and distractions can help us reconnect with our inner clarity. Sitting quietly, observing the breath, or simply watching thoughts pass without judgment allows us to witness the mind's patterns. Over time, this awareness reveals what causes suffering, what brings peace, and how to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. In these small moments of mindfulness, the seeds of wisdom are watered. Another important way to live with wisdom is by choosing our companions carefully. The people we interact with every day influence our emotions, behaviors, and perspectives. When we spend time with those who gossip, complain, or chase superficial pleasures, we easily fall into the same patterns. But when we seek out friends or mentors who embody compassion, calmness, and purpose, or even follow such individuals through books, podcasts, or Dharma talks, we begin to rise with their influence. Their presence becomes a mirror, reminding us of what truly matters. Wisdom also invites us to listen with care and depth, especially to teachings that challenge our assumptions. Rather than scrolling endlessly or consuming information passively, we can dedicate time each week to listen to a meaningful Dharma talk or read a passage from Buddhist scripture. But more than just listening, we are called to reflect. How does this teaching speak to my life? What habits or thoughts does it ask me to question? Wisdom is not just hearing a teaching once. It's the process of living with it, applying it, failing sometimes, learning, and trying again. One of the most overlooked but powerful applications of wisdom is in our daily decisions, how we speak, spend, eat, work, and rest. Wisdom helps us slow down and ask, is this choice aligned with my values? Will it lead to peace or to more craving and stress? When we live in this reflective way, even the simplest actions, preparing a meal, speaking to a loved one, responding to a mistake, become opportunities to grow in understanding. Finally, it's important to remember that developing wisdom is not about being perfect or never making mistakes. In fact, mistakes are often the greatest teachers. Each time we reflect honestly, learn, and act with more awareness, we are walking the path the Buddha laid out. In a society that values speed and instant results, choosing the patient, mindful way is itself a radical act of wisdom. The more we live in alignment with truth, compassion, and insight, the more peace we bring not only to ourselves, but to everyone around us. A story to illustrate wisdom and a message to the heart. To truly understand the power of wisdom, sometimes all it takes is a simple story. One day, a young disciple approached the Buddha and asked, "Master, how can I be free from suffering? How can I stop being so overwhelmed by life?" The Buddha, in his usual calm and gentle way, didn't answer with a long philosophy. Instead, he pointed to a leaf falling from a tree. He asked the disciple, "Did you see that?" The young man nodded. The Buddha continued, "The leaf doesn't resist. It simply lets go when the time is right. It doesn't cling to the branch, nor fear the ground below. It flows with the truth of life, impermanence." This small teaching carried a vast message. The disciple realized that most of his suffering came not from life itself, but from his unwillingness to accept its changing nature. He feared loss, clung to people and experiences, and resisted reality. But in the falling of a single leaf, he saw the wisdom of letting go. He understood that true peace doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from understanding it. This is the essence of wisdom in Buddhism, to see clearly and to act from that clarity. Wisdom doesn't mean we stop feeling or that life becomes perfect. It means we stop fighting against what is inevitable and start embracing life with awareness and grace. A wise person feels pain but does not drown in it. A wise person experiences joy but does not cling to it. Wisdom brings balance, the ability to walk through life's joys and sorrows with an open, steady heart. Sometimes we search for wisdom in books, teachers, or faraway temples, but often it is already within us, waiting to be uncovered. Every time we pause to reflect instead of react, every time we forgive instead of holding on to resentment, every time we speak with kindness instead of anger, in these moments, wisdom comes alive. It grows in silence, in presence, in honesty. And once it begins to bloom, it transforms everything it touches. If there is one message to carry from this story and from the teachings of the Buddha, it is this: you already have the seed of wisdom within you. You don't need to be someone else, go somewhere far away, or wait until life is perfect. All you need is the courage to look deeply, the patience to stay present, and the heart to walk the path one step at a time. The leaf lets go, not because it gives up, but because it trusts the rhythm of life. So can you. Wisdom, as the Buddha taught, is not something far away or reserved for saints and sages. It is a living, breathing quality we all have the potential to develop. Through reflection, mindfulness, compassion, and courage, It begins when we start seeing life clearly as it is, not as we wish it to be, and it deepens each time we choose understanding over reaction, peace over pride, presence over distraction. Today we explored what true wisdom means in Buddhism. We looked beyond common misconceptions, the belief that wisdom comes from age or intelligence alone, and discovered that wisdom is about how we live, how we let go, and how we love with awareness. We learned about the 4 essential steps the Buddha taught for cultivating wisdom: keeping good company, listening to the Dharma, reflecting with attention, and practicing the teachings in daily life. These are not just ideas. They are practices that can transform our entire way of being. Before we end, I want to thank you deeply for being here. Every moment you choose to listen, reflect, and walk the path of inner understanding is a gift to yourself and to the world around you. If this message resonated with you, please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel, TT-Buddhism, and sharing it with those you care about. And we would love to hear from you. What part of today's teaching spoke to your heart the most? Leave a comment below. Your reflections may inspire others on their journey too. Until next time, may you be peaceful, may you be wise, and may you walk gently on the path of truth and freedom.